Welcome to the Adventures with Grammy podcast. I am your host, Carolyn Berry. This podcast is for grandparents on the go with their grandchildren and for parents who want to ensure loving relationships across the generations. I welcome your input and your feedback on every episode of the podcast we produce. Please send me an email at carolyn@adventureswithgrammy.com or connect with me on Twitter and Instagram at Grammy Adventure. Please follow or subscribe to my podcast. It's free, so you won't miss an episode, and ask your family and friends to do the same. You can subscribe to the monthly newsletter by visiting my website, adventureswithgrammy.com, and clicking the newsletter sign-up link. Our guest for this episode of the podcast is Colleen Rife, the co-founder of GoodGrandma, a place for grandparents to share information and stories for the purpose of becoming better grandparents. Welcome, Colleen. Please tell our listeners about you and about the work you do to support grandparents and grandchildren.
I am a mother of 5, and I am grandma to 6. My husband and I, it's our second marriages. He lost his first wife, who happens to be also my cousin. So his 6 children are my stepchildren as well as my first cousins once removed. It makes for an interesting family tree. He has 13 grandchildren. Together we have 19 with one on the way. They range from age 17 down to 1 month. We cover pretty much every age group you can imagine. There's never a dull moment.
How did you get started with your blog and your Facebook group?
GoodGrandma, GoodGrandma.com was something that my husband and I wanted to start together, something to encourage grandmas with different ideas. So our slogan is giving grandmas good ideas. We have our website, goodgrandma.com, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Pinterest. We want to encourage grandmas to share their ideas, and we have a message from Papa Rich that at our site, there is no guilt. You take what you want and leave the rest. No grandma is a perfect grandma. Thus, we are just good grandmas. We're trying to do the best we can. So share your ideas, get ideas, and then have fun with the grandkids and make memories. We started that almost 3 years ago, are having lots of fun with doing grandma spotlights and having guest grandmas and sharing different ideas. And it's lots of fun.
That was one of the things that impressed me about your Instagram page, is that you have such fun posts. And then you spotlight grandmas and just write these interesting facts. And you have ideas and words of wisdom. Can you share with the listeners some of your favorite posts and why they're your favorite?
We've got hundreds of them. One of the things when we were starting GoodGrandma is we wanted to do something as far as like a business. If it didn't make money, we wanted it to be something that still added something worthwhile to add to our society and something that we would be proud of. And then also something that we were passionate about. And so definitely I am passionate about my grandkids. So any post that I have of them, of course, I think is absolutely wonderful. But we've got craft ideas and food ideas and traditions and, like you mentioned, words of wisdom. We even have like ones that are silly captions with the grandkids' pictures, which are also fun to do. In addition, we also have like our furry grands, because we do have quite a few dogs and cats that are considered our grand animals, our furry grands. We also are aware of them when it comes to holidays and birthdays and such, that we recognize them. We had Murphy, who joined the family, and did a post on him. And we have links on our posts of the different things that if we suggest an item, where to go to get that. One of the ones I'm actually working on right now is an Easter post. We have a tradition, not every year, but off and on, we do a beach towel where my mother, the original GoodGrandma, has an embroidery machine, and she puts their names on their towels so they never get lost. And it's something that is relatively inexpensive, at $10 a towel, and then my mom does their names on them. And it makes for a useful and practical Easter gift, something that they're going to use. And it's one of the ones that we've done for several years now. And the moms and the grandkids love them.
At the beach, that would be a fun thing to have. And just to, kids like personalized things anyway, and then to have your own beach towel, what a special treat.
Definitely. We've done quite a few other things. We've done pillowcases and duffel bags, and the duffel bags have been a hit. They in fact, the moms, as new babies are arriving, remind me that these are bags that get used often and they'd like one for them as well. So we continue on with that tradition. The ideas that are out there, some of them are mine, obviously on the website, but then also when we do the spotlights of the good grandmas, we like to share their ideas. One of the grandmas we spotlighted was Grandma Bethany, and hers was very simple. She had, at the end of their visit, because they have a little bit of a road trip to go home, they each grab a lunch sack and get snacks in it. Well, I took that idea and I kind of made it so when my grandkids who live a ways away and I don't get to see them as often, if someone's going by or dropping something by, or if I can mail a bag to them, I take a lunch sack, I put different treats in there. I've found that if I go to the party section at stores and buy things in bulk, like unicorn tattoos or dinosaur tattoos or stickers, that they would have for party favors, I can get more for my money and put those in the bags along with maybe a little sucker or a little thing of Smarties. And then on their bags, I write their name or their initials or their birth date or how old they are. So they're seeing those things on the bags, but they also know these treat bags are from grandma. And my oldest daughter will actually tuck them away and save them for a time where she needs those bags to change the mood in the house or give the kids, something exciting to open and do. So the treat bags have become something that have been fun for me and for them. Just another fun idea.
And I see on your Instagram page, you also have giveaways. So tell me about how that started.
We first started, we were doing a Good Grandma approved product. So there have been different products that we've approved and we have come across that we have found that are awesome. The squigs that stick to the tables and have a pop sound, or you use them in the bathtub, are lots of fun. The magnetic building blocks, tiles that you can use is another Good Grandma approved product. And these are things that I have in my own home, not just things that they would have, that we would give them, that they would have in their home, but to have them here when they come to play at grandma's house. There are fun things for them to do. So as we do Good Grandma approved products, we also will do a giveaway. So then the subscribers to our website, their names would go in a drawing and they would get a Amazon gift card to purchase that particular item to have in their own home. We've also have a few Good Grandma products. We have our Good Grandma aprons, and we have a Good Grandma brag clip that you can hang on your fridge. And when you get an art picture from a grandchild, you can put it there to brag, or a picture of them. We also have what we call a glad pad. It's several different games in the notepad that are repeated several times. So you have a maze, picture search and find, how to fold a paper airplane, a dot game, tic-tac-toe, hangman, all sorts of games in there that you can purchase. You can purchase any of these, the Good Grandma apron, the glad pad, the brag clip. We've also given those away when we do our monthly giveaways. And the glad pads have definitely been a hit with my own grandkids, as well as children I might meet in the store. I was at Costco and there was a mother with 3 young children, and the line to pick up the photos was lengthy and I could tell were restless. So I pulled out my glad pad from my purse and I ripped out a search and find for the younger one and how to fold an airplane for the older boy. And I also carry pencils in my purse so that if I give that to a child that I'm not going to be with the entire time, they can take the pencil with them. So I handed that off and the mom was like, thank you. And that way, not only are you a grandma to your own grandchildren, but you can, help and encourage and bring happiness to all the children that you might come across or meet.
That is really a good idea. Thank you for sharing that. I'll have to do that too.
I carry a glad pad in my purse at all times. And when I get low, I grab another one and put it in there. And I like the fact too that the glad pad is not electronic. It's not a screen. And so, tic-tac-toe or the dot game where you make squares, it's interactive and It's the old-fashioned fun.
And you have another idea for old-fashioned fun that I love, is the bingo idea. When I was a little girl, I used to go with my grandmother to, I think it was every Thursday night, but don't hold me to that. But she loved to play bingo. And our church sponsored bingo games. And
Yeah.
so I would go with her. And my grandmother had like 9 cards, and and I would get one. She could follow all 9 of these cards. And I used to think that was so cool that my grandmother could do that. But I love bingo. And so tell us about your bingo idea.
Okay, so we have a bingo game that I did at Valentine's Day where I found online that was free, a Valentine printable bingo. So we printed those out and we could play bingo with the Valentine hearts, which were lots of fun. And then at Christmas time one year, our daughter Laura gave us Hallmark bingo cards. So as you watch the Hallmark Christmas shows, you check them off, whether it's hilarious. A lighting ceremony or a interrupted kiss or a goofy dad or hot cocoa is mentioned. And that has been lots of fun for Papa Rich and I. We have thoroughly enjoyed that. The idea right now with long distance grandparenting, as well as being where we're at with COVID, is doing more things online. So I will do FaceTime and play with the grandkids with like my squigs or my magnetic blocks while they have theirs. And so we're playing together through FaceTime. And so taking the bingo game, they can have their copies at their home and my copies at my home, and we can play bingo together, even though we are miles apart. And it's always more fun to play bingo when you can use a candy treat on the different numbers. So anyway, that was just a fun idea and really quite inexpensive. There's a link on my website where you can go to print out your own bingo cards, and you can make different themed ones like the Hallmark bingo cards. And so it's whatever your imagination can come up with, you can create.
So the picture in your post shows one of the, I'm not sure what you call it, thingamajigs that you turn, and then you can pull the number out. Do you actually have one of those?
Yes. And there's a link on the website where you can go. And if you click on that, it'll take you to Amazon where you can purchase your own. But yeah, we have that one with the bingo cards where you actually have the ball to roll all of them. And then it's fun for the kids because then it will bring the ball around and they pick that one up and then it's, B4 what? or whatever the number. And then you can talk to the little kids too. I mean, the younger ones can learn the numbers and how columns and rows work and then of course turn on some music and start singing bingo, 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 what's his name? Oh,
that's a fun idea. I love incorporating learning with fun. I think that is just so cool when we can slip that in and they don't realize it.
And that's where I feel like my teaching, I taught second grade and kindergarten, and definitely comes into play. I want them to be learning, and that's like back to the treat bags. As I put their birth dates on it, they have to figure out whose bag is whose by the birth date or by their initials. They're seeing that Reagan D. Wynn is RDW. So, she's recognizing that and then doing again, like how old they are with like, if she's 5, do 5 flowers on the bag. So anyway, yeah, I'm all about having fun and learning at the same time.
And that's one of the things I like about your post is that you show grandparents how to do that. So it's not only having fun, but it's having fun and learning at the same time.
Yes, definitely.
To talk about how your grandchildren interact with each other. So you have 19 grandchildren, a wide range of ages. How do you encourage them to interact, or does it just happen naturally?
Because Richard's grandchildren and my grandchildren, we were married almost 7 years ago. The ones that are younger kind of know each other because they've grown up with each other. The older ones, the oldest 8, really just call me Colleen. which is fine. And I'm their friend and we have a great relationship and they have a great bond. Their Nana Jan was wonderful in having them together and creating those friendships. One of the ways that we also have opportunity to have the grandkids interact is we'll do grandma's camp. And this past summer, I had my granddaughter Reagan and Richard's granddaughter Willow. They came for their 5-year-old grandma's camp, and they created such a bond in having those 3 days that we got to do activities together, which also gives me a chance to have more one-on-one because there are so many of us when we get together. I don't always get to have that quality time with the grandkids. And so we did 3 days together where we did different activities and crafts, and we kept a journal and had just an absolutely wonderful time. So the grandma's camps definitely help. And then I encourage, when it's someone's birthday that we recognize them. And I just recently did a calendar for Reagan. She's understanding days of the week and months of the year, and wrote everybody's birth dates in the calendar. So as it's coming up, she knows, oh yeah, Willow, my friend Willow, I love Willow. It's her birthday, and making sure that they recognize the other kids. And some of it does just happen naturally. And it's fun to watch as those relationships grow. Or my own mother, the original Good Grandma, she did grandma's camps too. She called them Camp Grandma. And to this day, my oldest, her grandkids, so my mom's grandkids came in sets of 3. So she had 3 at each of the grandma's camps. And those 3 oldest girls who are now mothers, and it warms your heart to see that relationship, that friendship those 3 girls have as they are encouraging each other as young mothers and helping each other. And it's that cousin relationship is definitely important and can be such a great support in your life.
I interviewed Hannah Aletko a few weeks ago. She wrote a book, Camp Grandma, or Camp Cousins, I think she called it. And that was one of the things that she said was her goal, was to have cousins become friends so they could know each other. And I think that's such an important part of growing up, is knowing your cousins.
Yes. I'm actually working with my dad right now on formatting his life story. It's interesting to read from his perspective and understanding how important our ancestors are, as well as our posterity. And I think he's done such a marvelous job in bringing all of that together. And I've really enjoyed helping him as we do the layout on this to print it into a book, understanding more about my ancestors. I think that's where grandmas can definitely make a difference, is bringing the whole family line together and having the history of the family, the knowledge of it, to continue down the generations to come, so that they understand their family line and where they came from and who they are.
A long time ago in an earlier life, I used to help grandparents write their life story, and I did it using pictures. And I would tell people to, when they would come to this event, I'd say, bring 5 pictures and then just tell me about what happened or what surrounds these pictures. Something just to get grandparents to start talking. And then that was a way they could then share with their children and grandchildren something as simple as what happened in this picture. Yeah. So I think that's an important tradition that grandparents can help foster.
Oh, definitely. And there are so many different places now that you can go where you can create life stories. My Richard's children gave him a Christmas gift last year where he would write, he would get a prompt in an email, and he would write about whatever the prompt was. And he just got the books back. So the year worth of stories. Now they have all of these stories of his childhood and his upbringing and things that were near and dear to his heart. On our website, we also have a link to My Life, My Storybook. We highlighted this company that they have a program where it's a 24 question prompt, and they encourage which pictures to go with which one, and it ends up becoming a very short picture book. So easy for you to sit down and read with a child this picture book, and you have the complete history from beginning to the wherever grandma or great grandparents are at. where you can sit down and read with a child. So My Life, My Storybook is a great program where you can put together your own picture book of your life story.
Oh, that's a great idea. I know there are several companies that you can do that online now. When I started this years ago, there was no Facebook. There was barely internet. People didn't even know about it. But I think anything that you can do to help give your child a sense of belonging is important. I remember about the same time I embroidered this wall hanging that said, two most important gifts you can give your children are roots and wings. That's something I always think about, and that's why the genealogy is so important to me too.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think we, as grandparents, we can have that special bond with grandchildren where maybe if mom or dad asks an older grandchild to do something they don't want to, but if grandma or grandpa asks, you betcha they'll do it. It is a unique role where we can encourage and help our grandchildren.
What have I missed on your Instagram or Facebook or website that you think it's important for grandparents to be aware of?
Well, I had a grandma that went to our website. She wanted to figure out how best to take pictures of all the grandchildren. How do you successfully get a nice picture of your grandkids? And she said, I went to your website and I couldn't find anything. So I did research and did a post on how best to take pictures of your grandkids. So if you go to our website and there's a search bar right there underneath where it says Good Grandma, if you can't find what you're looking for, let me know. I will research and find that information. Hopefully, when you go to our search bar, you can find what you're looking for. Go through our website and just see if there's different ideas. Lots of ideas for holidays and birthdays, family traditions. We also did a series of parenting posts as well some time ago about how to best support a single parent, how to help a child and grandchildren through a divorce. So there's information that hopefully is helpful and educational, as well as different posts that are just pure fun.
What words of wisdom can you share with our listeners about being a grandparent?
Unconditional love, being there, being in the moment. I do scheduled play dates with my grandkids. They always say, Grandma plays with us, Mom. You should play with us. And she's like, it's so hard. And I said, yeah, because you have so many other things pulling at you, where when I come, I have that time scheduled, and that's all I'm doing. I'm in the moment. I'm playing with them. I'm creating those memories and creating that bond. So unconditional love, be in the moment, and make those memories with those grandkids.
I think that's one of the best gifts of grandparenthood, is that we don't have the stress and the responsibility of raising them, running a family. We get the best parts of playing with these children and having fun.
Right. And embrace it and have a wonderful time. I really want to be able to have other grandmas share their ideas, and spotlight them. In the one spotlight we did of a grandma who lives overseas, her granddaughter did it and spotlighted her, and her grandma printed the post out, framed it, and it's on her coffee table. Like acknowledging those acknowledging our grandparents and recognizing them and their contributions to society and to the family is a way of doing like family history as well. I would like to be a site where people would want to share their stories, whether it's their stories or their grandparents' stories and their ideas, so that we can learn and benefit from each other.
Actually, one of the things with this podcast that I've invited people to do is share memories of your grandparents or share grandparenting wisdom. We're recognizing the value of grandparents. Good Grandma also raises funds to support research for Angelman syndrome. Colleen, will you tell us what Angelman syndrome is and what you're doing to raise funds for research?
The items at the top where you can purchase are also jump ropes. And on the handle, it says Jumping for Jet. And Jet is my cousin's grandson, and he was born with Angelman syndrome. And we sell those jump ropes for $10, and the $10 goes directly to the Foundation for Angelman Syndrome. They are researching to find a cure, and we have done giveaways with those as well and helped to bring awareness to Angelman Syndrome. They're missing a chromosome in their DNA, and they are unable to speak. They are mentally and physically handicapped, and happy, so happy. Jet just is grinning from ear to ear all the time. And his parents were telling me that many of the kids don't walk. He's actually has a support system where he has been able to start to learn how to walk now. And he's 3 years old, 3.5, no verbal ability. We've tried to be a voice for that and finding a cure. And they've been actually able to find a cure in mice. They're hopeful that in our lifetime, we may be able to have a cure for that.
Tell us again where our listeners can find you and your wealth of knowledge and ideas.
Well, it's not all my wealth of knowledge and good ideas. I want our grandmas to definitely share their good ideas as well. There is a spot on the top of our website where it says Give Ideas. Go there, click on it, and share your ideas. Lots of grandmas are nervous to have it post. It doesn't post immediately. I have a chance to edit and check back to make sure I have it correct, the information. So share your ideas there. So to find us, you go to www.goodgrandma.com, and that is our website. You can also message me there. My email is Colleen, Colleen, at goodgrandma.com. Email me. And then you can find us on the social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. We even have videos.
I will put links to all of these in the show notes as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Adventures with Grammy podcast. You will find the links to our guests and the topics we discussed in this episode's show notes. If you would like to be a guest, or if you know someone who would be an awesome guest, please connect with me at Carolyn@adventureswithgrammy.com.